Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So we're actually going to be doing some maintenance on the truck in this video. We're going to be changing the AC and serpentine belt. Pretty simple job, but I wanted to walk you through it. But also, after we get that knocked out, I want to go over some modifications on the F80 that we have coming in that are finished. I've been waiting on for a couple months now actually, and give you guys a little bit of an update. Haven't driven the car in the last 2 months. It's been winter. Winter has been pretty gross. A lot of salt, a lot of brine and snow and everything on the roads. So this car has been hanging out in here for the last 2 months. Pretty crazy. Probably one of the longest times I've ever stored a car, amount of time. Usually in between those times I'm, driving the car here and there, but I haven't driven it at all. So it's pretty crazy. But some great things coming for this car. Wanted to go over them with you and what's coming up. But let me go ahead and get the truck in here. Let's get started on the belts. All right, so we got the truck in the garage. Obviously, we're going to be working underneath to get to access to the belts, but I want to show you first what we actually need to get the job done. So this is all we need. Now for the AC belt, here is the part number, JK4377B1X, it means one piece. And the serpentine, the main belt is BL3Z8620-C, 1 times 1 piece. So I'm using Motorcraft. You can use some, off-market brands, but I have 87,000 miles on the truck right now, and you're supposed to change them every 60. Haven't had any issues. I still don't, but I noticed it's starting to squeal a little bit when I first started up in the morning, so I figure I might as well get this knocked out. It's a pretty straightforward, simple job. Serpentine belt is much easier because there's a tensioner. The AC belt's a little bit tougher because you got to kind of work it on, but we'll get it done. I'll show you how to do that. Tools that you're going to need is some type of long ratchet just to get some leverage. You can use a normal size ratchet like one of these, but I found and heard that it's much easier if you have a long breaker bar or some sort like this. In terms of socket sizes, we're going to need a 15 and an 18. A 15 for the serpentine belt for the tensioner, and an 18 for the actual crank bolt that we're going to be needing for the AC belt. We're also going to be needing a couple zip ties. I'll show you why we need them, but let's go ahead. Let's get under the truck. I'll show you where we're working. All right, so we are under the front side of the truck. This is the passenger side. You can see the oil filter right there. You can see all the belts and the pulleys and everything, but where we're going to actually be working is, if we look right there, that is the tensioner. That one's a 15, and right here, that is the crank pulley. That is the 18. So first things we're actually going to do is remove the tension off of right here, which is the serpentine belt. So we're going to pull the whole thing to the left to relieve the tension and get the serpentine belt off. This is the easiest one. I'm not sure who decided to not put a tensioner on the AC belt pulley over here. Pain in the butt, but we're going to get it done. But this is way easier. So let me go ahead, get my ratchet and my 15 ready and pull this serpentine off. Now keep in mind of how it's routed. You want to take note of that, take pictures, whatever you want to do, just so you can make sure that you're putting it back on correctly. So let me go ahead, let's get that off. All right, so I got my long ratchet, 15 millimeter on the tensioner. And all I'm going to do is pull the tension towards the passenger side. And then I'm just going to slip the belt off. Again, it's much easier to use a long ratchet to get this off, so you're not struggling, but simply just pull it off like that. And now you can release the tensioner, put it back, and we got the serpentine belt off. All right, serpentine belt is off. Now we're going to be working on the AC belt. So as I mentioned, this does not have a tensioner, so you actually need to either walk it off or just cut it off. Now before you cut it off, you obviously want to make sure you have a replacement that's the correct sizing and everything. The part numbers that I showed you obviously are the correct part numbers, so I know I have the right one. But also what I did was wrap the new one around here just to make sure it's the same size, the same length and all that. Also the same width and dimensions, so we are good. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to take some big scissors and cut it off. It is the easiest option if you are replacing this. Otherwise, you got to sit here and use some zip ties, and I'll show you how to do that to get it on. But let's go ahead and cut this off, and let's compare the old ones to the new ones. All right, so here are the old belts next to the new ones. It looks like the serpentine belt is not Motorcraft, not factory. As you can tell, this one has no markings of what brand it is. And then obviously over here we got the Ford Motor Company logo and the part number and everything. So it's easily distinguishable compared to this. But I measured it up, same exact size. That is the part number once again for the serpentine. And then the AC belt was the original one. So if we look here, here's the old one I just cut. BR3E6C301RA. And then we look on here, BRE6C301RA. So same exact one. It looks like this one was never replaced. This might be the original. As you can see, it was in decent condition, but as I mentioned, it was squealing on startup. So you can see not really many cracks, but I'm not noticing any noticeable cracks or anything like that. Nothing that's really standing out. You know, the belt looked to be in decent shape, but that squeal was annoying the crap out of me, and I wanted to get that replaced. I guess I can see some of the little kind of wear areas, but yeah. So now we have to do everything backwards. So we have to actually start with the AC belt. So we're going to do that first. So we're actually going to need our zip ties to be able to walk it on, and our 18mm to turn the crank pulley to walk it onto the correct pulley and location. So going to be a little hard to film, but I'll do my best to try to get you some angles, but let's go ahead and get this on. All right, so I wanted to get things started because it was impossible to get any type of angle while trying to do this, but this is what you want before you start cranking it down. So make sure the belt is on the back part of the pulley over here, and then what you want to do is actually get as much of the belt on the main pulley here, and then zip tie it. There's holes through each, like the little holes in the back. Pull the zip tie through, and then it's going to hold the belt in place. And then what we're going to do is take the 18mm and our long ratchet and crank it on that bolt right there. Crank it to the right, and it's going to walk it on and get it into place. So you want it on the one closest to the block, and then we can move on to the serpentine. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll try to get you an angle of walking it on, and hopefully it goes on no problem. All right, guys, I'm almost there. We got the belt in the right position on the AC over here, but this is almost on. So I'm having to crank it a few times, and I'm just using a big screwdriver and kind of angling it up so it gets pushed on. It's got to go over that little hump right there so it gets in the position on the track. So got to keep cranking, and hopefully it'll pop on, but I am so close. All right, so we got it. So what I ended up doing was cranking it down with my right hand on the actual ratchet. And what I did is I put my hand on the top here and I pushed it in like that. And what that did was kind of pop it into place. So as you can see, it's on the track here and on the right position. Nice tension back there. As you can see, it's on the right side as well. It's in the grooves, so we're good. So now we can put the much easier serpentine belt on and we'll be done. All right, so I got the serpentine belt back on. I just did it off camera. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Literally just in reverse. So much easier with the tensioner. But the route that I found best to put this on was put it up on the alternator, around the water pump, and then around the tensioner, and then get it as much on the crank pulley here as you can, up top. And then down here, it'll be a little tight and kind of hanging off. And then just release the tension with the 15mm, and then you could just push it on and into place. So it is all set. We are done with the job. I'm going to go around and make sure 100% that it's all in the right area, which I already did, but I'm going to do it another couple times to make sure. And then we can start it up and make sure everything is good. All right, guys, started the truck up and everything is good, moving smoothly, right where it should be. So job done. I'm happy I got that done. I was putting that off for quite some time just because I wasn't 100% sure how smooth it was going to go, but that was probably took like 20 minutes to do with filming. So all right, it's all done. I'm going to go for a quick little drive and make sure everything is good, and then we can get on to the F80. All right, got the truck finished, went for a little cruise, Everything is good. Happy that it's finished. They've been sitting on my workbench for the last like 2 months or so. It's just been so cold to get out here, but it was actually pretty decently warm tonight. It's like almost 50, so I wanted to get that knocked out. Happy that's done. So now we can move on to the F80. So one of the things I like doing in my videos is keeping you up to date as to what's happening with the fun car, the F80 M3. And we got quite a few things in the pipeline ready to go. Now, as you can tell, I haven't been modifying over the last few videos simply because I've been waiting on a couple huge things that needed some time. One of which, the most important one, we'll get right to it, is the OEM GTS hood. So I ended up finding an OEM GTS hood from somebody that was actually parting out their F80 M3. They were trying to sell the car as is, modified, and I noticed that there was an OEM GTS hood on there, and I said, hey, if you end up parting out or you want to part out the hood, let me know, I'll take it. And sure enough, he ended up doing that, and I snagged it. But it was not in my color, so I had to get it repainted. So I purchased it, sent it over to Auto Couture. So it was coming all the way from Texas, so it took a little time to get here. Then obviously getting it to the paint shop, getting it painted, and it's finally done. Auto Couture just got their hands back on it after it getting done, and it looks beautiful. So I'm actually headed up next week. We're going to install it. We're gonna get some B-roll and everything, showing the install of it and everything, just kind of some beauty shots, getting the beautiful OEM GTS carbon fiber hood on my F80 M3. I'm also going to be going there for an alignment as well, since we installed the Millway street camber plates. So I dialed in some camber up front because it was a little too out, a little too poked out for me. And with the wider tires and the more aggressive offset, we needed to add just some camber. And I'm really happy I ended up installing them. Went beautifully, did a whole video on that, but I need to get a new alignment to get everything dialed back in. So I'm excited about that. So OEM GTS hood, painted, mineral gray metallic. Obviously underneath is left the beautiful carbon. It's good. I can't wait for that. I'm super, super excited. It's been like 2.5 months since I actually purchased the hood. So this is a long time coming for me, and I'm excited about it. Excited to kind of show you guys the whole process and obviously the level that it's going to take this car, because to me, that is what's missing on this car. An OEM GTS hood is going to look insane on here. Also very much looking forward to getting the alignment so I can finally drive this thing and feel out the new camber plates and just how the car feels with some added camber, because these cars with some camber up front, more than the stock camber, does wonders and it feels amazing. So this car is going to be amazing. Two things on the interior that I was waiting on. One was the MF interior dash pieces. I got them done custom in a custom bespoke finish, if you will, to kind of match the rest of my interior. We're actually waiting for a certain dash to come in. They're very hard to come by. So I wanted to wait for one to come in that was in good condition and everything was good. One finally came in about 3 weeks ago. So we're finally able to get started on that project, and it looks amazing. So those are coming in. I'm really looking forward to kind of tying everything in on the interior. Also, I ended up picking up an OEM fire extinguisher as well, but obviously you guys know I'm running the Recaro pole positions and they don't have brackets for that, but we are getting a custom bracket done so we can show you some other alternatives of how to install it on a car that has Recaros or other aftermarket seats. So I'm looking forward to that. It's getting paint matched as well, so it's gonna be mineral gray metallic. It's gonna be amazing, gonna really tie everything in. And I'm looking forward to showing you guys that. Last thing I have coming in as of now is some new exhaust tips. So as you guys may know, I'm running an In Customs exhaust setup. Love it. Amazing. Patrick does incredible work. And I actually changed up the tips. I originally had some In Custom tips that the finish wasn't that great. So I ended up swapping over to these. These are the Horizon Motorsport carbon fiber surround ones, which are really nice. And the finish inside is gloss black, holding up really well. But I wanted to kind of move away from this look where it's doubled up, where you got the exhaust tip and then a cover on top. I'm not crazy about the two pieces like that. And I also missed kind of showcasing that this exhaust was an In Customs exhaust. So I reached out to Patrick. I was like, hey man, I'm looking for some single walled, you know, not double piece like this, just one giant big old tip in the back, black, with some nice In Custom logo on there. And sure enough, he had a great idea, and we're gonna get those installed. They're actually just about finished. We actually got them Cerakoted in a really nice black, so it's gonna hold up to the heat, and the finish is not gonna wear away. And then we got some nice laser etched In Customs logo on each tip as well. The M is really nice, but we're gonna go back to the really aggressive In Custom setup, and I think it's gonna look really good. So that is all I have coming. Well, I should say all, but that is what I have coming for the F80 M3 in the near future. There's going to be installs. There's going to be a few things done to the car, and I'm really excited about it because obviously I haven't been driving the car. It's been winter, and it's been sitting here, and I cannot wait to get driving this car again. Warmer weather is indeed around the corner, and we're very excited to get this car back out and enjoy it to its fullest this year, because as you guys know, if you saw my last video, we are going to be moving on to something else in the near future. And I really want to get some use out of this car and enjoy it while I have it. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We got the belts done on the F150, went over the updates on the F80, but that is going to do it. Next video, I'm actually working on it right now. I'm actually doing a full comprehensive walk around and total costs that I've spent on the F80, not including the actual car, but just the modifications and everything done. This is a really requested video. There's just so much done on the car, and going over each individual piece, going over the cost and overall adding everything up. It's pretty crazy. I have everything added up already, but be on the lookout for that video. People always ask me about that, how much I've actually put into the car. So I figured I would do a full walk around, explain everything, give you guys a total cost, and let you guys know what it takes to actually get a car, an F80 M3 to this level. But yeah, I thought that would be fun, kind of add everything up. I know a lot of people don't like doing that, but hey, it is what it is, and that's just what it takes to get this car to this point. So if you guys have any questions at all, be sure to ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.